Yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Sunday fun day. You guys know the vibes, man. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. It's good, everybody. Legit, Dom, Melvin, Brendan, KC, James, Lydia, Steadfast, Taekwon, Joe, Tony, Blissful, Mac, Garrett, Girls with Goals, Claus, Dan. Find your edge. Let's fucking go, man. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Brian, John, Pascal, what's good, brother? Matthew, Sleek, Cheese, Von, Quita, Miss Quita. Nod, what's good, brother? Mariella, Dexter. Let's get it, man. First things first, I am getting absolutely cooked right now by this fever. But I'm gonna try to push through for you guys, man. I'm gonna try to push through. You guys know me, man. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm not one to bitch out, even though I might not feel the best. Before I hopped on, it was like 100.3, 100.4. So I should be alright. But if I start to feel, worse, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead, call it, and go home and get some sleep. But yeah, man, I'm gonna try to push through for y'all. You guys know the vibes, man. Appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up. You guys show up for me, so I show up for you. Let's get it. For anybody that's new here, we're going to go over the economic calendar first, and then we're going to get into the watch list for the week ahead. Yeah, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Can everybody see clear? Everybody can hear clear? 1 if you can. 2 if you can't. Yeah, man. I'm down bad right now. And it just hit me out of nowhere, too. It's after I ate dinner. That shit just smacked me like a truck. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Nah, you can't see it. Yeah, man. I don't know what it is, but that shit is wicked, whatever it is. Shit just popped up out of nowhere. I felt fine all day, and after I ate, I was like, my skin was super hot, but I was super cold, and that's how I knew, like, all right, some shit's going on here. Already cool. Everybody's good to go. Let's get it, man. As always, we're going to kick it off with the economic calendar for the week ahead, and then we will get into the watch list. Big week for us. Very, very big week for us outside of the market gapping up tonight. Going into Monday, March 24th, 2025. Very interesting week, to say the least. Kicking it off, we have PMI at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. That is what we have to begin the week. And then Tuesday, picking it right back up, we have new home sales here at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Consumer confidence right along with it. And that is going to be Tuesday, March 25th. Wednesday, March 26th. No, that's right. Okay, cool. 25th. Yeah, excuse me. Got to skip ahead here. March 25th. Consumer confidence, new home sales, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, big day here. Durable good orders, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Biggest day of the week here. Thursday, March 27th. We have our usual jobless claims along with PCE and GDP. This is probably the highlight of the week in terms of economic data. It's huge, right? On top of that, we have pending home sales piggybacking a little bit later in the morning around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. To end the week, Friday, March 28th, kicking it off with obviously PCE, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by our usual, which is consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, with that being said, jam-packed week, right? Monday to Friday, again, quick little recap. Monday, March 24th, PMI, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday, consumer confidence, new home sales, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, March 26th, durable good orders, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday, March 27th, jobless claims, PCE, GDP, all at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the highlight of the week in terms of economic data. And then we have, to kick it off at the end of the day, which is pending home sales. Friday, of course, we have PCE as well, March 28th, and then consumer sentiment. So, very, very, very data-heavy week, which it's not really great for us in terms of swinging. We're going to have to do a lot of ducking and dodging off of the open, trying to stay out of positions around those data points. But should create some nice volatility. Should give us some nice opportunity off of those data points. But Yeah, man. Let's get it, y'all. First things first. Let me double check. I checked the earnings calendar, but I'm just gonna double check again. Yeah, nothing crazy this week with earnings. So let's get right into the watch list, law. This is NQ. As always, we're gonna kick it off with futures, NQES, and then we'll move into QQQ and SPY and the individual names for the week ahead. First things first here, I want to talk about this monthly chart. Technically, right? We were down about 14.6% at lows here, 19,345. That is 5% away from a bear market. That is absolutely huge, right? NQQQ reached full-blown correction territory, being down over 10%, and we're 5% away from a bear market. All of that happened with little to no relief. So here we are, 7 days left in this monthly candle with no relief. Big question right now is, we're starting to see relief through Friday session and overnight here. Does it hold, right? That's the big question, because previously, every time we've seen any type of pop, it's quickly faded, right? So the big question going into this trading week is, does this overnight pop hold? And if it does, we're still below some very, very, very big levels, right? Ultimately, we're in trouble, right? We're in trouble. We had the double top, failure to go higher, big break of structure, and we made a lower low here on the weekly, right? So if we come up here and form a lower high and then break these lows, that's a full-blown downtrend on the weekly chart, right? That's bear market in my opinion, right? But obviously, we're not that far yet. We're still hanging around this little area. And if you ask me, this looks like a nice little bear flag, right? Getting down to the daily, it's a little different picture painted here. If we're looking at this chart, still below this massive supply. That's first things first. Number two, we're starting to build a little bit, right? And what I mean by that is, obviously we have these daily lows, 19,300. Last week on Friday, we attempted to go lower here and failed. Not only did we fail to go lower, but we closed very strong on Friday session. So now we have a potential higher low here on the daily, which doesn't mean much at the moment until what? We break that structure. So going into this trading week, levels are very clear, right? Levels are very clear. If we're looking at this chart here for what it is, right? This could be two things, right? Like I said on the weekly, could be a massive bear flag, without doubt, right? Could be a massive bear flag. Levels to watch. Very clean, very clear here. 2165, that's the top of the range. Essentially the bottom of the range here, 19,600, with the line in the sand being 19,345. That's a massive range, right? There's a lot of value in between this. But the main watch this week is going to be this 20,165 level. That's that previous week's high. Two things I'm watching here. One, if we can break and hold above 2165, I think this is going to trigger a much bigger squeeze in the 2,300 and potentially even that 2,500 area. That's scenario number one. Number two, since we have been very weak, we are in a nice daily downtrend. If we can push into this 2165, fail, start to trade back below it, I think that's a great short swing opportunity, right? It's a bit higher risk, but I do think there'll be great opportunity there. Obviously, the main watch is going to be a break and hold above 2165. We could just take that squeeze into new highs. Now, let's talk about setups from now into the morning or overnight. All right, if we're looking at this chart here for what it is, right? We had that Friday session, nice gap up. Here we are tonight, bottom of the gap, overnight highs. These are kind of our overnight boundaries. Right now, we're trading above a massive demand, 2100. You can see this was a massive resistance, which we're holding as support. My opinion, right? Long as we hold this 2100, longs are valid, right? Look for that move back into 2140, 2165. We break that 2165 again. It's parabolic, right? We're going to squeeze until there's no squeezing left, right? That's the bullish scenario tonight. Bearish scenario, lose 2100, hold below it, start to build, look for that short back down into 2050. 2050 being the line in the sand here. If we hold that, it's very likely we're going back to that 2100. But if we can lose 2100, build below it, get back under this 2050, we have a beautiful gap here that needs to be filled down to this 20,000. So bearish case here, lose that 2100, higher risk short down into that 20,050. If we lose that 20,050, short it for the gap fill down into that 20,000. So that's kind of my game plan tonight with NQ. Very clean, very clear. Levels are very nice. So that's what I'll be watching. If anything happens between now and the end of the live, I'll be more than happy to take it with you guys. Like I said, even now, if you grab micros, I don't think that long looks bad at all. Just take that long, stop below 2100 and letting her eat. But yeah, that's what I'm watching on NQ. Let's get into ES here. Here we are. This is the monthly chart. Like I said, in the grand scheme of things, overall structure is still bullish, right? I'm not saying the market's bearish by any means, right? If you look at this monthly chart, no one can say it's bearish. We're still bullish, right? Higher highs, higher lows, very simple market structure, market mechanics. But looking at this monthly chart, if we do close March out below this 5,800 level, that is very concerning for longs, right? That is very concerning. With that being said, if you get down to the weekly, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. That's that big structure, right? 5,800 was that massive structure that we held for so long. And now, if you notice what happened, double top, failure to go higher, and we broke that structure. So now that demand is now supply. What are we doing below it? We're essentially just flagging below it. What does a bear flag insinuate, right? Continuation, right? So if we're looking for anything on the grand scheme of things, it's going to be, hey, if we pop back into this 5,800 and fail, that's the swing opportunity for these lows, right? That's the game plan. Or if we pop and hold above that 5,800, that's the long trigger back into all-time highs, right? So everything depicting for our decision-making on ES is going to be around this 5,800 level. Once you get down to the hourly, it's a little bit cleaner here. Breaking down Friday session, right? Obviously, we have our daily lows. Last week, made a higher low here on the hourly, pulled back on Friday and held. So now we have a higher low here, right? ES, what you see on the daily, we have a higher low. What does an uptrend consist of? Higher high and higher low. So with that being said, is if ES can get above this 5770, now we have that higher low to pair, or excuse me, now we have that higher high to pair with that higher low. That's when the squeeze is on, right? Back in that 5800, 5850. That's the big line in the sand though, right? So game plan here on ES is going to be very simple. 5770, right? If we can get that clean break and hold above it, look for the next dip, go long, target that 5800, 5850. If we pop back into this 5800, 5850 and show weakness, that's the trigger to go short. Now, main watch. Get above 5770, right? Hold. Build above this 5800. Hold. That's where you really can go long confidently back into that 5900, right? Very simple. Now, always like to keep you guys prepared. So, we covered the upside. Let's say we push into this 5770, attempt to break, and fail. If we break and hold above that 5770 and then end up losing it later in the trading day, you can use that 5770 as a resistance and go short back down into that 5725. Now, with that being said, what I would watch tonight, right, on ES, two things. One, we get above 5770, buy the dip back into that 5800. That's number one, right? That's the top long watch. Number two, if we get a pullback here, right, on ES, watch this 5725. This was that massive inflection point from Friday's session, and it's the top of the bottom of this gap from overnight. So if we pull back at this 5725, 5720, that's a great long opportunity back in at 5760. And that's what I'm watching here on ES and NQ. Now, we'll move forward a little bit here. I do want to talk about YM for multiple reasons. Number one, we just bounced off this macro demand here at 41,000. Number two, right, if you look at this chart here, it's a lot cleaner in terms of structure, right? We broke this massive structure here on YM after failing to go higher, put in a low here on the daily. Now, if you look at the daily, we have a higher low, right? If YM can reclaim this structure, we'll now have a higher high to pair with that higher low. That's the squeeze risk, right? That's when YM can go absolutely parabolic. So with that being said, for those that trade futures, top watch on YM here is going to be simply a break and hold above that 42,600. If we can get a break and hold above that 42,600, that's the amazing long entry, and you can look for that squeeze back into 43,500. This is a beautiful chart. A higher risk approach to trading this would be, hey, if we pull back into 42,350, that's where you can look for a demand bounce off the bottom of this gap that we've created overnight. A major demand back into 42,600. We break 42,600, hang on tight, you're going to be a millionaire, right? Very simple. So that's what I'm watching on YM as well. Very clean chart. Outside of that, don't really love too much else with futures. So let's get into the individual names. First things first, we'll hop into SPY here. Big thing I want to point out, and what I really want to put a lot of emphasis on for SPY is this weekly chart, right? If you look at this weekly chart on SPY, what did we do last week, right? We pushed right back into this massive, massive supply here. attempted to go higher on that previous week's high, and then failed, right? To me, this just looks like a beautiful bear flag on the weekly, right? That's what it looks like. Same thing on ES. So all this little bullish action overnight isn't really doing much for me, because if you look at this SPY chart, again, you know, we're still below the supply, right? We got the left shoulder, we got the head. It still looks bearish to me, right? So the only way I'm going to be bullish on SPY is if we get above 571. If we get above 571 on SPY, by all means, buy the fucking dip and hold it. Target that 577.50, 585. That simple, right? That simple. That simple, that simple, that simple. Now, on the flip side, if we push into this 571, 570, and fail, that's a great short opportunity, right? Why? Because we're failing that supply. That'll be another lower high on the daily, and we can look for that move back into 557.50, right? Now, downside scenario on SPY. If we pull back into this 558, 559, high risk, long entry is valid there, but the main watch is going to be below 558. That gets us back down into 550. Line in the sand for lower on SPY is 550. If we lose 550 on SPY, one, I'm gonna be deathly afraid of my long term. Two, there's nothing but room down into 540. So with that being said, make sure you set your alerts on SPY. Levels are so clean here. We just got to get outside of this range, right? That's it. Above 571, below 558. Tons of opportunity there. QQQ, pretty much identical scenario, right? If you look at this chart here, what do we notice? Tested this massive supply last week, attempted to break that previous week's high, and we failed, right? If anything, to me, this looks like a beautiful bear flag. Where? Below that massive supply, right? This would be a perfect scenario for lower. But again, go down to the hourly. You can pick this as two things, right? You could say, hey, this is just a nice bear flag, right? That's one thing you could say. Or you could say, hey, we held this double bottom here, made a higher low on the hourly, held that higher low, and we're starting to build into this resistance, right? So there's really two ways to look at this chart. And a tip for you guys, when you see something like this, it's a little conflicting, right? Weekly bearish, daily bearish as well, monthly bullish. That monthly time frame is always going to trump. So when you see a chart like this in the hourly where it's like, okay, this could be a bear flag, this could be this could be that, that's when we revert back to that higher time frame being the monthly. If we break this structure, simple, squeeze city, right? That simple. That's nothing else to put it, right? So with that being said, 485.50 here on Qs. If we can get a break and hold above it, please buy the dip, target that 493. Very likely we potentially even see that 500 level. It's that simple, right? Now, on the flip side, pushing to 485, 484, and we fail. That could be a great short opportunity. Back into the bottom of this range here. Big level to the downside, 472 being that pivot from last week's session. 467 being the main line in the sand here. If we lose 467, QQQ is going to lose its marbles. 450 is the next level. It's all over, right? It's all over. So, big line in the sand levels here this week. Only really levels you need to pay attention to. 485.50. We get above it, buy the dip. Simple. We fail it, short it into the ground. Downside, 467. We lose 467, short it to the ground. Simple, right? That's that simple. That's what I'm watching on SPY. That's what I'm watching on QQQ. Let's get into these individual names for the week ahead. First things first here, we have Apple. Apple. I know a lot of you guys like to follow along with these individual names. So, you guys let me know when you're ready, and we'll rock out. Just drop it ready in the chat, and we'll get this thing rocking. Alright, let's get it, y'all. So, here we go. Apple, what do we notice? Massive pullback in demand, 208. Scenario number 1. 2, what do we notice here on the daily? Look at this Apple chart. We wicked below that previous day's low, closed a very strong bullish engulfing with rising volume. So we just held a macro demand, and we got that daily candle confirmation. Massive bullish engulfing, nice rising volume. This is beautiful, right? Get down to the hourly, what do we see? Beautiful double bottom, beautiful fair to go lower. There's one thing holding us back here on Apple. There's only one thing holding us back. 218.80, right? All the context here for Apple to blow the top off is there. Weekly demand pullback, daily bullish closer, right? We have that bullish engulfing, rising volume. We got to wait for confirmation, though. Confirmation would be a break and hold above 218.80. We get above 218.80, buy the fucking dip, target that 224, ultimately targeting that 229 at that daily 200 MA. And it's that simple, right? Clean, clear, absolute A+ setup if we can get above 218.80. Next, we got Meta. Almost an identical setup, right? Almost an identical setup. First things first, I want to point out, Meta just bounced off of this massive, look at this, all the way from 2023. 1 touch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different times Meta has tested this trend line. And you know what's happened each time? We've seen a 10 to 15% equity move. On top of Meta testing this macro trendline support, we also just tested this massive weekly demand, attempted to break it, failed to go lower, closed strong above that previous week's low. This is textbook as textbooks get for an absolute massive squeeze. Go down to the 4-hour here on the on Meta. What do we notice? We have a massive downtrend trendline resistance. What does that line up with? Friday's high. So, context here. Massive weekly demand. Tested that massive weekly uptrend. Double bottom failure to go lower on hourly. All the scenarios for Meta to fucking rip and blow the top off are there. So if we can get above 598 on Meta, simply buy the dip, target that 610. This can see that 625 faster than you think, potentially even that 636. This is a chart I love for a swing as long as we're above 575. Meta's above 575, swing it for the fences. That simple. If we lose that 575, that's when you can flip short. This can see 550 fairly quick. But long as Meta's above that 575, daily 200 MA, long swing looks absolutely amazing. Right? This is an A+ setup in my opinion, based off every single one of those components I just mentioned to you. Huge, right? Huge, huge, huge. Next, what do we have here? Microsoft. And I want you guys to think outside the box. I want to see if you can get it right. I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm going to finish the watch list. And I want you guys to really think, right? Look at the watch list here, right? Majority of these names I'm covering are pretty bullish setups, right? Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Video when we get there, Tesla when we get there. Just think, right? I want you guys to think outside the box. What do these... How can I word this without giving it away? If all of these names move, right? If all of these names have a bullish setup and all of these names break out, what's likely going to happen with the overall market? Think on it. I'll come back to you in a little bit. Microsoft, what do we notice here? Weekly demand. Massive weekly demand. Pushed into it, held, absolutely beautiful, right? Daily chart, what do we notice here? We have that daily low, we have a higher low, and then we have a strong bullish engulfing through Friday's session with rising volume. Go down to the hourly. What do we notice here? What do we notice? Beautiful double bottom. Beautiful higher low. Another double bottom. One thing holding us back here. 393. Flat top. Beautiful level. Context is there. If we get above 393 on Microsoft, buy the fucking dip. Hang on tight. 400's around the corner. Final target would be that 405. 412 would be an extra cherry on top. That simple. Right? That simple. Weekly demand tests. Strong daily closure. Just need that confirmation above 393. Send it. Send it, send it, send it. This is also a chart that I love for a swing. Next, we have Roku. I know. But, beautiful chart. What do we have here? Weekly bullish engulfing. Absolutely beautiful. Nice rising volume. That's first things first. Number 2, what do you notice? Closed above this beautiful daily structure. Go down to the hourly. That's where we're really going to be able to narrow down this setup. Pull back into that demand, which would be that daily structure. 74.50, 75.50 for a demand bounce. Or if we can clear this 80 level, this can get absolutely parabolic back into 85, potentially 90. This is an absolute beautiful setup on Roku. Ignoring the fact that the name is Roku, it's a beautiful setup, right? So that's what I'm watching there on Roku. Lastly here, we have Tesla. Absolute beautiful chart here on Tesla. Where do we bounce off of? just bounced off a massive, 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 massive weekly demand. Closed a very, very strong bullish pin bar here. This is beautiful on Tesla, right? Absolutely beautiful on Tesla. If we're looking at this chart here, get down to the daily. What else do we notice? We have our low. We have our higher low, break of structure. Go down to the hourly. You're going to see exactly that, right? One thing holding us back here on Tesla, 252. Beautiful higher low, beautiful higher low, beautiful reclaim of structure. Tesla can get above this 252. It's going to be a literal SpaceX NASA ship, right? 260 first target, 280 being second target. Higher risk way to trade Tesla. Pull back into 242, 240. You can look for that demand bounce back into 252. That's the game plan there on Tesla. Absolute beautiful chart. Kind of a little extra name here I wanted to cover with you guys is Shop. Very pissed at myself because last week I said I was going to enter and I didn't. This was an A+ setup, right? I'm not just saying that because it worked after, but just look at the chart, right? This was an A+ setup in every scenario, right? A+ setup across the board, clean as it gets, macro resistance, turn support, 0.5 retracement on that daily, clean as it gets, beautiful macro break and retest. But setup still looks good, right? So on Shop here, what I want to see, this is very small account friendly as well. What I want to see on Shop, pull back into this 98, 100 area. We can pick up a swing entry and a demand bounce. Or two, if we can get above Friday's highs on Shop, I think this can get absolutely parabolic into 110, potentially even that 115 area. So this is a chart that I absolutely love based off what I just discussed. So make sure you guys keep this on watch and set an alert. Looks very, very good. Yeah, we're already in Datadog though. We're already in a Datadog swing. We've been on this for a little while. Closed up, I think, 30-40% on Friday. My rationale here was very simple. Macro break and retest. Macro demand. I entered a little bit early, but it's all good. Yeah, this is a beautiful chart. Got the failure to go lower. If we can break this 105.50 on Datadog, it's going to be a parabolic squeeze. But I want to kind of double back now, right, to what I just asked you guys, what all of these names have in common. Look at NVIDIA, right? All of these names are major, 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 major holdings in QQQ and SPY, right? Obviously, if QQQ breaks that 480, excuse me, what's that level? Let's go double check again. QQQ breaks that 485.50, SPY breaks that 571, and these individual names start to break, right? Microsoft breaks 393, Apple breaks at 218.80, excuse me. Meta breaks at 598, Tesla breaks at 252. The market's going to absolutely squeeze like you've never seen it squeeze before, right? If we get all of these breakouts here at the same time, it's going to be an absolute nuclear rip mission, right? Mark my words. It will happen. It will be a parabolic squeeze. And I can damn near guarantee you one of these names will do it by themselves, right? Meaning we're going to get a big move from one of these names. Whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Apple, whether it's Meta, whether it's Tesla, whatever it may be, I can guarantee you one of them will break this week. I can guarantee it. Whether it's Apple, whether it's Meta, whether it's Tesla, obviously I don't know, but I can guarantee you we will get a massive move from one of those names. If not, QQQ and SPY break themselves. That is a fact. So, with that being said, big week ahead of us, right? Big week ahead of us. Very big week ahead of us. Now, what I want to do is go over a couple of swings here. But before I do, let me go ahead and fix this real quick. I owe you guys one giveaway as of now. Couple swings I want to go over. Tesla is one of them, right? Scenario, I would look for a swing on Tesla. One, pull back in that 240, 242, and we hold intraday. You can grab a higher risk starter on a swing. Two, if we close above 252 on Tesla, that's swing potential back into 280s. Datadog, I'm already in, but if you wanted to enter Datadog, you could literally enter on the first pullback this week, right? Just keep a stop below that 98. Roku, again, swing. Pull back into 74.50, 75.50. That's a great swing entry. Shop, same thing, 98, 100. Target, I absolutely love for a swing here too. If you guys notice, Target is testing this major macro demand at 103. Attempted to break it Friday session and failed to go lower. So I'm going to be watching target for a swing this week. If we can pull back and hold this 103 again, I'm going to take an entry on target. First target on target would be 107 and then 112. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Also really like Docu, and for obvious reasons. You can see here we pulled back to this macro demand. We held. Now we got that daily higher low, building right into this massive resistance at 88.80. Closed a very strong bullish engulfing with nice rising volume. So I'll be hawking Docu this week for 1, a day trade, and 2, a swing entry. This is a chart that I think can see a lot higher if we break that 88.80. Matter of fact, I'm going to move this to my main watch list because this is huge. Right? This is huge. It's a beautiful chart. Costco, absolutely love for a swing as well. Bounced off that macro demand. Beautiful bullish engulfing from Friday's session. Nice rising volume. So definitely want to keep an eye on this as well. What I'm watching on Costco is 2 things. One, if we pull back into these daily lows, which is this 885, 880 area, I want to look for a higher risk swing entry down here. Or if we can break this 925, we can look to take it above that as well. So yeah, man, very nice swings this week. Very nice charts in general, right? Like these charts are absolutely beautiful. QQQ, beautiful. SPY, beautiful. Microsoft, beautiful. Tesla, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Docu, Nvidia, Roku. Like all of these names are absolute beautiful charts, right? Like beautiful, beautiful charts. So, yeah, man, we got a ton of opportunity this week. I'm super excited for it. That's pretty much everything I'm watching. We've covered NQ, QQQ, SPY, QQQ, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Tesla, Roku, Shop, Nvidia, Docu. We've covered an absolute ton tonight, man. Like I said, I'm very under the weather. I got a fever and got the hot and cold chills. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it a little bit early tonight. We'll go ahead and do these giveaways. And then I'll go ahead and rock out. But in the meantime, if anybody's got any questions, any concerns, whatever it may be, feel free to ask it, whether it's a question about me, trading, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be, right? Whatever your heart desires, feel free to ask it. Yeah, man. Whatever you guys got, feel free to ask it. I'm going to take a drink of water and we'll get into these giveaways. Alrighty, let me go ahead and pull this up. Get this going. Keyword is going to be 2025. Make it simple. All you got to do is type 2025 in the chat one time and you are good to go. Of course, man. Like I said, regardless if you guys win or not, I appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up. Appreciate every single one of you guys for your time on this fine Sunday. Crypto Chaos, appreciate that, man. That means a lot. Appreciate that. That means a lot. But, yeah, man, regardless, like I said, whether you guys win or not, I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys know I do this for you. I didn't feel the best, but I still hopped on for you guys. Yeah, man, we got a beautiful week ahead of us. Let's get it. Good luck, everybody. 1, 2, and 3. SG. Please, guys, if you see your name pop up here, everybody knows the rules. You got a roughly 45 seconds to a minute. I know there's a delay. I'll do the best to accommodate the delay. But, yeah, man, if you see your name pop up, you can literally type anything you want in the chat. When this turns green, you're good to go. SG, where you at? If we somehow to get the 300 by the time we're done here, I'll be more than happy to do another one. You guys know that. Let's see what we got here. We're at 40 seconds. SG. Where you at? It's me. Alrighty, cool. See what we got here. Oh man, I think I missed that long entry. Shit. Fuck. Get me back over to the chart. Fuck me. Oh yeah, I missed it. Fuck. Fucking shit. Anybody catch that? That was beautiful, man. Literally beautiful. If we break here, it's just gonna be fucking parabolic. It's huge. 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 I would like to try to get an entry, but I don't want to chase it. I do not want to chase it. Give me 1 second. I'm just kind of hawking the chart right now. I do want to get an entry here. Like I said, if you take micros, you can just take it, but I don't want to take micros. I do not want to take micros. Alright, I'm not going to take up too much more of you guys this time. Did we hit 300? Watch out, Turbo. Quit fucking scratching my chair, you little rat. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night on that note. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's live. I will see majority of you guys tomorrow. You guys know the vibes, man. If you wonder how to trade with me, literally, that's all you got to do. I'm going to show you something, right? Click that link I just posted in the chat. That's all you got to do. Take you straight to my Instagram. It's completely free. I can guarantee you this won't be for much longer, but while it's here, take advantage of it. Literally, click that link, go straight to the Instagram channel, completely free. Click on it, you're locked in, good to go. I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning. You guys know the vibes, man. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your night. And, yeah, man. Again, thanks to each and every one of you guys, regardless if you won or not. I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning. We got a big week ahead of us. All right? Peace, everybody.